It's January, and that's when I generally catch up on albums I did not review for the last year. And over 1,000 of you voted for me to review Common and Pete Rock, The Auditorium Volume 1. And you might be wondering, why didn't I review this? Yeah, I'm a big hip hop guy. I love rap music. Surely I haven't been sleeping on Pete Rock and Common for a combined total of over 60 years. That couldn't be possible. I just did that video on J. Cole where I listened to for the first time very seriously 2014 Forest Hills Drive, and a lot of people said in the comments, I guess you don't know as much as I thought you knew. Well, listen, I've been sleeping on Common and Pete Rock for much longer than I've been sleeping on J. Cole. And that's part of what I try and do on this channel is just be honest and upfront. As Tim Robbins taught us, not everybody knows everything. So I'm still learning. There's still a lot of stuff I can learn about hip hop and rap music, and I hope you learn with me. In case you've been sleeping on Pete Rock for as long as I have, why have I been sleeping on him? I mean, he's clearly great. He's done a lot of things I like. I like "The World Is Yours" by Nas. I like that song off Fish Scale. I think he did a couple on there. I know he at least did "Be Easy." Could have been because I must listen. I don't know when the album with CL Smooth came out. I must have listened to it, and I must have just said, eh. I don't know. I feel like I should listen to it now because maybe I'd like it. But for whatever reason, and this will happen to you too. If you're young and you think this won't happen to you, you'll just have a sort of initial reaction to something, and then 20 years later you'll be like, oh my God. I missed that great piece of art. So, that's how long I've been sleeping on Pete Rock. And I think part of it must be the same reason that I've been sleeping on Common. I remember when he came out. I remember Common Sense. I remember reading about him in The Source. I remember hearing him on the sort of underground radio shows in Boston. There was this time in the 90s where we had the beginnings of the kind of real hip hop stuff, where we're not that stuff, we're this stuff. And for whatever reason, that really kind of sat wrong with me. I just kind of bugged me. I thought it was a little too preachy, a little too in love with the smell of its own farts kind of stuff. And it really cut me off from a lot of great art. And because it's like the desire to protect hip hop culture and keep it closer to the way that it was is a good instinct, and you can tell by everything else that I review that's not something I dislike in general. But I guess when I was 23, 24, whenever it was that he came out, I just couldn't get behind it. So in my whole life, I just kind of put Common sort of over in that section, along with Black Star and a bunch of other great artists the fact I just said that I don't really rock with Black Star. Listen, Mos Def is coming out with an album. I didn't rock with him either. Mos Def's coming out with an album soon, and I'm sure I'll be having the same conversation with you when that album comes out. I did get this album, the one that's produced by Kanye, Finding Forever. I like that quite a bit. I bought that on CD last year. So I think that's why. I think that's why I've never really liked Common, even though I don't. The weird thing is I should like him because he is probably the best inheritor of Rakim's energy and skill. And Rakim is a top 5 MC for me. I forget where I put him in my now terribly outdated list from a couple years ago. I think I put him at 2 or 3. I mean, I really love Rakim. I really, really love Rakim. And very clearly, the closest thing to Rakim is Common. So I really should like him more than I do. I don't know. I do like him as an actor. I really enjoy him as Judge Sims. Spoilers for season 2. I really do like him as Judge Sims on Silo. I think that the way that he raps, now that I know he's rapping better, I mean, it's not. I've been hearing him for 30 years, right? It's not like I've never heard him. I just never really gave him the attention or credit that he deserves. He really does rap like he acts, with a kind of understated strength, just kind of like a charismatic strength. So you know what? Why do you like this album? Why was this album on everybody's top 10 list, and why was it not on mine? What was my frustration? Well, here's the thing. I love that the sentence "hip hop is a young man's game" is increasingly inaccurate. Okay? It is not for men anymore, as the number of great female MCs is skyrocketing, and it is not for young people either anymore. We have allowed rappers to grow. We have allowed them to not be young, engaged in youthful activities. We've allowed them to mature, and this is a great album of maturity. but I think the reason that I got annoyed was I felt like you know how Lil Kim and Foxy Brown got into a fight, and then Nicki Minaj and whatever, like you know how like the female rappers often get in fights, and it's sort of like this rats in a barrel sensation where it's like there can be only one. Maybe we're in this. I think female rappers have moved past that, with like Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla, and I mean, there's so many great female rappers who are not making a thing out of trying to tear down other female rappers. Maybe in the consciousness, there's only so much like old school rappers that we can sort of take at once. So that new Redman album came out, but it came out right after the Snoop Dogg album. So like maybe that was that, and I really thought that LL Cool J's album, The Force, was just one of the better rap albums of the year last year. I thought it was amazing. I frankly think it's much better than this album by Common and Pete Rock. And I think I just got annoyed that it got slept on. Like, I got annoyed because it sort of felt like, well, first of all, it was very funny because, like, you would think that with how much he raps about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all that, and how much I associate him with conscious hip hop with a capital H and a capital P and a capital dash in between them, like you sort of expect it to be that he would be super conscious, but the album isn't actually that conscious. Whereas LL Cool J, Mr. Loverman, his album is ridiculously conscious, produced by Q-Tip. I think they're interesting. I think in the future, if you are an academic and you want to do an interesting study of 2024, beyond the Kendrick and Drake stuff, just taking these two examples of a great rapper of the past with a great producer, Q-Tip, Pete Rock, LL Cool J, Common, and see the ways that their personalities have kind of shifted. Because Common is actually kind of a lover man on this album. He has this kind of desire to sing to women in a way that is very seductive, and that they need to be treated well, but also he knows how to treat them wrong at the right times, that kind of stuff, which is kind of LL Cool J shtick. Like they kind of crisscross. I don't know. So what is he saying? What is Common saying on this album? Well, what he's saying is something that is actually very important. It is actually very political in a different sort of way. This album is kind of a warm sweater, but it's a warm sweater in a way that no other album that I can think of or piece of media that I can think of has been a warm sweater. Let me explain. How many albums, movies, books, whatever, are from the perspective of a financially secure, emotionally developed, contented, middle-aged black guy who's showing gratitude and is in no state of self-destruction whatsoever? That's just not out there, and it's important because every time a rapper expands the emotional register of hip hop, it is important because it is a very expressive art form that is often restricted by its audience and by its participants to be just sort of one kind of masculinity, one kind of youthful, aggressive masculinity, and to have anything that goes beyond that is really important, and especially with this added element of age. So, I think of this album as like going and having an awesome meal at your favorite restaurant back home, except it's, not your cuisine. This isn't like my kind of album. This isn't for me. I am a visitor in this space. I'm a tourist to hip hop. I know that. I do not know the Black American experience, but I know enough of hip hop to say that this album doesn't sound like anything else I've ever heard before, because it is, there's lots of albums. Take out race. How many albums are there about middle-aged men? Just on a masculine studies level, this album is radical, because most middle-aged men who sing about their lives will be singing about self-destruction, or be singing about regrets, or singing about how everything falls apart, or will still trying to be acting young. This is like the most wise, mature album you can possibly have, and I think it's for wise and mature people. And I can imagine that if you are, especially the closer you are to Common's life experience. By that I mean the closer you are to being black, middle-aged, financially secure, emotionally developed, and grateful for what you have, the more this album hits for you. So hooray for this album. I'm really happy that that it exists, even if it's like not my thing. You know? God, I wish we could do more of that. I wish critics could just do that more. Could just say like, this is really good. It's not my thing, but let me tell you why it's good and also tell you why it's not my thing. Okay. And listening to it all day too. Just been a great day. I mean, not a super, you might notice the scar on my forehead. There's this real prickly character who is just in the corner of my living room. I come up, I grab him by the neck, drag him through the living room, toss him out the front door, and then just slam him on the curb. But that's the mark that he left. I'll show that Christmas tree. So, I've been listening to this album all day, and my wife really enjoys it, the Doctor and Mrs. I said, this is Judge Sims. And she's like, don't patronize me. I know who Common is. Listen, when I met her, she didn't know much about rap music. She's from Yugoslavia, so I'll take that as a win. So yeah, it's a very enjoyable album. I really enjoy the lyric, Pete Rock is Spock, and I've got the inner Captain Kirk. Don't try to hit the streets. This is real men at work. Just a charming line. I don't really feel the need or desire to go through every single song on this album. I mean, I enjoy all of it. I love the hard, 90s drums on the song Dreaming. I love the way he's so insistent on calling back and leaving little Easter eggs for people who love hip-hop music and rap music. And I feel like I catch most of them, but I don't catch all of them. I mean, obviously it's not too hard to catch the references to Biggie and Prodigy, Grab the Mic, I Was Shook, Ain't No Such Thing, and then the references to De La Soul, and this whole great mixture of black history and black musical history, with mentioning Queen Latifah and the Queen Latifah sample, and the whole thing. It's just so beautiful. I get it. I get why this was on so many people's top 10. I mean, even just the line, "It was all a dream. I was talking to Dr. King." That's just great, because it's taking the idea that the opening lyrics to "Juicy" by Biggie, it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, right? That tying that directly and explicitly to "I Have a Dream" by Martin Luther King. It's great. I really enjoy that line. Chi-Town. It's not Chi-Town. Hey, if you are from the Chicago area and you would like to start a chain of stores that sells tea, like tea houses, I give you permission to take my idea and call it Chi-Town Do It. Because it's Chi-Town. It's Chicago. I love hearing Kanye's voice. This is just like the okay, it happens to reference the song The Ice Cream by Wu-Tang, and I just hate that song. I've always hated that song. Man, the sex songs, they just get too specific. Anyways, but there's this beautiful bit at the end where Pete Rock is mixing together Kanye and James Brown, and it's like two of the most important and influential musicians in American history being mixed together with no fear of copyright, with no fear of having to pay someone off. It's just for a second, but we get to hear true American excellence, true black American excellence, true complicated people American excellence, okay? But still, hearing this get down together, it's, if I had to put, 2 seconds of this album to have in my head forever, it would definitely be that. It was just great. Who wins that one? Who has more influence on American culture, James Brown or Kanye West? We might have to wait to find out an answer to that. That's a tough one. Next song's This Man, kind of an Isaac Hayes sounding song with some horns. I enjoy that. All these references to Rakim. We're on Our Way. It's just a very uplifting song that sounds very much like a Curtis Mayfield atmosphere. If you haven't listened to Curtis Mayfield's music of the 70s, you really owe it to yourself. And don't just listen to Superfly on repeat. Superfly is a fine song, but be like there's no place in America today. I think that's the name of the album. That one's just great. I mean, all of his stuff from the 70s, just damn, so good. And just the way Pete Rock has these bongos and guitar, it's just great. My favorite track on the album is called Fortunate, with this weird sample. Ah, wad ma shonda ma fortunate. Oh, these swirling sounds and this great flow on the second verse. I don't know. It's funny because when I go to the gym and I listen to albums, I also watch a movie at the same time. My weird ADHD stuff, and so I watch it. And then one of my favorite movies of the '90s popped up, and it was Good Burger, which I only watched because I had a policy in the '90s that I watched every movie that Sinbad was in, because House Guest is a fucking masterpiece. Okay, if you don't know House Guest, if you've never actually really enjoyed the comedy of Sinbad, you are depriving yourself of a true delight. Anyways, and it made me laugh that like somehow I picked up on this duo as being like really great pieces of Black American entertainment of the '90s, and I was able to pick up Good Burger, but I missed Pete Rock and Common, and it wasn't like I was a teenager. I was not in the demo for Good Burger. I was the oldest person in the theater by like 10 years when I saw it. But anyways, Good Burger, great movie. God, man, that movie's great. I know it's made by that creep, but it's great. So many people. Great year for Anita Baker. These great drums, so many layers. Pete Rock's doing great stuff here. It's this whole kind of personified thing. Where it's personifying like destiny and hope and all that, and it's fine. It's a very uplifting song. I guess maybe I'm too cynical for uplifting songs like this, but I do like that I believe it's Malcolm X sample at the end, and this great beat and then oh my god. Oh my God. So if you've seen my video where I talk about the most avant-garde beats of the 1980s in rap music, I put The Bridge by Marley Marl for MC Shan as one of those beats, as one of the most important beats of the 80s. And this is Pete Rock's masterpiece on this album, because he takes a sample from The Bridge, which is just this very aggravating, but then he mixes in these really insane, sweet sounds. So he takes one of the most pokey, pointy, aggravating rap songs of all time, Beautiful Chaos, and just all metal gnashing teeth. A beat that Marley Marl's beat sounds like chewing on tinfoil, okay? And Pete Rock takes it and just smooths it out, along with the sample of MC Shan. This is what I'm talking about, So like you might be sitting there saying, oh, Professor Skye thinks he knows about hip-hop, like it's true. I don't know a lot. But I own an MC Shan CD, and I've owned an MC Shan CD for 30 years, There's a lot to learn about hip hop, But oh my God, what a beat. What a beat. That's great. A wise man with food in his beard. I like that, Common. I appreciate that, because Common's got a beard. Sometimes I have a beard, sometimes I don't. I usually have a beard. It sucks, though, because it keeps getting whiter and whiter and whiter and whiter. My wife says it looks good. She says it looks distinguished. She says it doesn't matter because dudes look better when they get older, but dudes don't believe that. Food in his beard. Oh, I'm not a slob. I'm just wise. A God there is. Again, I'm not sure this album is for me, So this kind of spirituality and about the gates of heaven and all that, and Jennifer Hudson, it's so well produced. I don't find it offensive or bad, but it's definitely not the kind of thing that I'm looking for in a rap album. Next song is called Stellar. The great sample here. I shine and rise at the same time. The mastermind of the sport called rhyme. Great stilted bass. Lonesome is the sweet voice in the back that just lets the sample be the chorus. Places where hurt tried to find its home. Like I'm trying to buy a house, I find myself alone. When love is in the air, with the wind I'll be gone. My grandma say you don't want to die alone. He invents a new word, learned to love the mic, so I pursued it Jordanly. I really appreciate it. And then there's this whole line to his daughter, some come, some go, remember daddy's home. Even when I'm gone, you're not alone. So I'm lucky because I get to be with my kids all the time now. I'm not a musician. I'm not an actor. I don't have to be out of town for a long period of time. But there was a time where I had split custody. And I did make a song for my daughter. I made a song for her every year for her birthday. And in one of the songs, I said, I'm always with you, even when I'm not around. And like, I could make myself cry on camera right now because of the pain that I felt in that moment, and the fact that he put that in here. You know, that's what I'm talking about. This album is so brave in its ability to just be a good dude doing his best. You know, he's not trying to play up his flaws. He's not trying to be some kind of fractured hero, some kind of self-destructive anything. All kinds of ideas. Great Rakim quote here. I guess this is Pete Rock's time to rap. I like him. Again, more references to the real hip hop. And then we get to When the Sun Shines featuring Paz de News, which I have been misspelling Paz de News' name. I guess I must have heard De La Soul for the first time, you know, whenever the first album came out. And I've had Paz de News in my head totally wrong. So I apologize to you. Cool, unsettling chords, boom bappy drums. I really enjoy the references sort of back and forth to De La Soul songs. Very uplifting chorus. Again, I really love Paz de News' verse here. Of where lyrically the best went, it's me on all fours. They say I'm the goat, but that I do ignore because a goat could be slaughtered and cooked up in curry and ate up in a hurry. It's all of the goofiness, creativeness that we just love from De La Soul. It's in here. And in Common's verse, he actually like references stakes is high. And then again, he's the lover man here. I show this whenever I can. I bought this album partly because it came with an autographed picture of LL Cool J. You know, who doesn't want an autographed picture of one of the greats? But I'm kind of embarrassed to own it. It's like a glamour shot. It's like... Anyways. But this is like, you know... And listen to women and give them biofeedback. They need that and still lay pipe like 3 stacks. Like, it's like, girl, I'll listen to you and take you seriously. And then you know what I'm saying? Anyways, it's good. Everything's So Grand featuring PJ, a song that I love more and more every time I hear it because it's just this appreciation rap. The rap of being fat and happy. I don't think he's fat. I just mean fat and happy spiritually, you know? Like, I'm a good 20 pounds heavier than I would like to be because I had an eating disorder for a while, and I got a whole weird stuff going on in my head with how I look. But my wife is just always making sure, nope, no skinny Skye, because, you know, you got to be happy. You got to appreciate what you have. Fam's all good, pushing through the hood, drank a little wine, take a little time. I could do a show, get the dough, travel with my girls, see the world, drink the champs like Nori. Funny, corny, cool. Now and Then is a cover of the new Beatles song. No, it's not. Nice Beatles with xylophone, more tributes to Rakim mentioning the 18th letter. Ridiculous lyrics. Yes Men acting like they know me. Road gets rocky. You don't know my Adrian. Brody, piano lessons that came from key players. So like the road gets rocky, and then Adrian's the name of the woman in the movie Rocky, and then Adrian Brody is the name of an actor. And then also Brody is like a way of saying brother. So you aren't Adrian brother, but also you aren't Adrian Brody. And then the piano, was the movie with Adrian Brody where he won the Oscar for the Roman Polanski movie. Eee. Anyways, a whole bunch of fun, clever rhymes there. Maybe not meaningful, but fun. I'm the Spike Lee Majors again. And then mixes together at the end Bismarcky and Martin Luther King. So, I mean, listen, you know, I'm talking like, I don't know how much I like Common, but this is a dude, maybe this is all Pete Rock. I don't know how much I like Pete Rock. He's mixing together James Brown and Kanye West, 2 of my favorite people on planet Earth, and then Bismarcky and Martin Luther King, 2 more of my favorite people on planet Earth. And then the outro, 2 guys under the guys. I can hear the ancestors saying, keep on. Hey, listen, I'm sure if you love this album, you love this outro. I find it a little bit goofy, but that's all right. All right, so there's my review. Was it worth the wait? I hope it was. I had to record it twice because my computer was like, dude, what is up with all of these videos? I don't know what this HD Skye stuff is about. I don't know what the Dr. and Mrs. is all about here, but these videos are way too chunky. Yeah, I'll show you the dogs though. That's sort of my new thing here. Smash the like bucket if you want to. But there's the microphone. So there's Toby over there. Yeah, smash the like bucket, and subscribe, and this is the always positive new music review show hosted by a French professor who forgot to do his intro until the outro. There's the camera. Wait, which one is it? There's 3 of these things. Is it that one? Oh my God, I've been looking at the wrong one.